so good. Good evening, everybody. At this time, please silence your cell phone. Be advised these proceedings are being recorded. For those physically present in the council chamber who desire to address the city council during the meeting, please complete the request to speak form available at the front entrance of the council chamber and present it to the city clerk. Speakers physically present will be called upon at an appropriate time. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes of speaking time. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. Tuesday, February 24th, 2026 at 6 p.m. The invocation be given by Councilmember Wilson and the pledge of allegiance be given by Councilmember Matt Brown. So please stand. Thank you, gentlemen. Madam City Clerk, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Brown?
Here.
Councilmember Allen?
Here.
Councilmember Wilson?
I am here.
Mayor Hussey?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sabino is absent. Mayor, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Item A, reorder and additions, removal of any items on the agenda. Do we have any?
No additions or deletions.
Okay. Item B, public comment. This is opportunity for members of the public to comment on any item not appearing on the regular agenda. Because of restrictions contained by California law, the City Council may not discuss or act on any item not on the agenda, but may briefly respond to statements made or ask questions for clarification. The mayor may also request a brief response from staff for questions risen during the public comment, or may request the matter be agendized for a future meeting. Do we have any public comment?
Yes, sir. Cynthia Bidney?
Ms. Manley?
Good evening. Oh, boy. If you give me a minute to get through this, I guarantee you're going to learn something. Okay, so the proposed amendment, Title 17 and 18, shifts authority to the city engineer. Who's that? City engineer. And for review and approval of small lot subdivisions, ministerial processing. Expands state law definitions, income categories, substantial surrounding alignment, local code, and state housing mandates. Creates a new small lot subdivision, establishing objective standards and limiting discretionary review. Rewrites zoning standards to accommodate state-authorized small lot subdivisions and SB 9 urban lot splits, even where those deviate from base zoning. The key issue is not whether the city must comply with the state law, it must. The key issue is how the city implements it and how much local protection it preserved. Do not over-delegate without oversight. Designating the city engineer as both review and approval authorities removes planning commission and council visibility from projects and permanently altering neighborhoods. I can't figure out what we would need council and planning for then. While state law allows ministerial approval, it does not require the city to eliminate transparency. My recommendations require a public notice to adjacent properties be sent out. Require quarterly reporting to council and all approved small lot subdivisions. Require infrastructure capacity, verification, water, sewer, and fire access before approval. Ministerial does not mean invisible. Adopt the strictest objective standards allowed by law. State law requires objective standards, but cities control those standards. If standards are written loosely, lot sizes shrink, density increases, neighborhood characteristics change rapidly. If standards are written carefully, parking, setbacks, height, open space can still be preserved. Safety and emergency access can be protected. Infrastructure impacts can be mitigated. Maintain maximum height limits consistent with existing zones. I'm serious about the height limits. Require minimum usable open space per unit. Require on-site parking unless explicitly preempted by state law. Require compliance with fire flow and emergency turnaround standards. Protect infrastructure. Avoid unnecessary zoning concessions. Preserve neighborhood
Ms.
stability.
Banley, how much longer do you have? Because this seems to be a norm that you want to go over your time.
Pardon me?
How much longer do you have? Because you always want to go over your time and not rest.
I always want to go over my time.
Yes, you are
because-
up there right now. When you hear the
Okay.
buzzer, the time's up. So thank
Can
you
I-
for your comment. Have a good night. Your time is up.
Are you serious?
I am
Because what I
serious.
have just,
I am serious. Your time is up. This is
Okay,
not this is
I-
a repeating offense that you keep doing, and your
it's
time
not
is up.
offensive. I will leave this for your,
You
for-
could leave it, and you could email us anything that you want, and we would
okay.
appreciate it. Thank
For
you.
the people of Grand Terrace, I'm trying to explain to the
Well,
city
the people of Grand
council
Terrace give you 3
how to
minutes. and
protect
try-
the city
Ma'am,
from the
please step away
state.
from the podium. Please step away. Thank you for your comment.
You will not allow me to make this a document of the record.
You could
So
make it a
therefore-
document and send an email, ma'am. Thank you for your comment.
Therefore,
Your
I
3 minutes
submit
are
it
up.
today to the city clerk.
Your 3 minutes are up. Thank you.
Next up, we have Bobby Forbes.
Johan, it's all right. Just don't argue with her. Her 3 minutes are up. Ms. Forbes, as soon as you're ready.
Good evening. So I have a couple of quick little touch points. J.C. Wallace, yesterday, called the sheriff again, somebody down on the concrete by the donut house. The sheriff was really close by. He came quickly. It was the same guy that blocked me in at my car at Walgreens a month or so ago. And we have a nickname for him, Swing Arm, so most of you know who that is. Middle-aged man, he walks and swings his arm. He told the officer that he has lived here for about a year and he was just having coffee, but he was laying down and I did not recognize who it was when I called. Number one. The lady from the laundromat that is, I guess, a manager there, floor manager, called me last night. She thought I was a J.C. Wallace employee. She started to attack me about the residents coming into the laundromat and causing a problem. Today I messaged her and I told her somebody from the laundromat needs to come here and speak at the council meetings. That it's no benefit to call me except that I'm just telling you what's going on in town. Everybody is so frustrated with it. And I will tell everyone they need to come. She apologized when I messaged her an hour ago that she was sick, she could not make it. I would like to know about smoking publicly. The people that opened the little store on Michigan and Van Buren, the owner sits outside in that chair 10 feet from the door and smokes all the time. I don't think that's okay. I think you have a smoking ordinance for that. can't sit on the city steps and smoke. I would think he can't sit outside of his door, even though it's his restaurant, and smoke. Kids go in and out, people go in and out, babies. I would like to have someone check that out, please. I'd like to make a suggestion. My mom lives in Colorado, and she has been adopting dogs there for many, many years. Since she's 65, she doesn't have to pay the license fee. It's free. She has to license her dog, have the shots, have all the stuff, but there's no fee. Grand Terrace charges more than Colton, even when they give the senior discount fee. So if that could be entertained, I think that would be a really good thing for the community. I understand that the new AC officer is bothering the seniors over at the senior villas when they're walking in the Petta Park about their dog licensing. Maybe they can't afford it. And then I noticed a sign on the property where the Green Group was going to build over by the McDonald's today. I don't know if it said for lease or for sale, but that did get my curiosity up. I'll take a picture of the sign so I'll know better and be able to call. And then notification. A woman at the end of our list called me first thing this morning, and she was going on about the multifamily housing zoning that's going to occur. And she made comment that only 500 feet from the project is all that they notify. We've been down this road many times, especially with the trucking facility. Lots are big. 500 feet might only be 2 houses. Didn't that get adjusted at some point? That's all. Thank you. My surgery is Monday. Please pray for me.
We will,
No.
Bobby. Conrad, how many feet do we give for the notices?
No, I'm not sure. Whatever, we have an ordinance that defines that and state law defines that.
Yeah, right.
And I know we follow whatever it is.
Hi, Gabriel Arguez, Assistant Planner. It would depend on what project she's referring to. For the rezone exercise, it's going to be, it's undetermined right now about the large mailer that we're going to be sending out. We're determining that now with the city attorney. And so we're going to be doing the most robust notification I think the cities have seen. And so we'll be definitely sending it out to every property owner, and then we'll determine what the appropriate distance away from those property sites.
I can see a blank stare from one of the council members. It is different depending upon the situation, on the type of activity and the type of application. And
Right.
so that it varies. It's not a consistent number. That's why he says we have to determine in this particular case what that distance is.
And City Attorney, what about the smoking with our ordinance?
Let me take that because, coming in here and saying there's this and this and this and this, have we said something? Have we reported anything to the city? Have we let code enforcement know? Have we called anybody? Have we called the sheriff? I certainly haven't heard anything about this. So I believe the ordinance is 50 feet, but we'd be glad to enforce it if somebody would say something. And we have the C say something, say something.
Mm-hmm.
We have the ability to contact us. We have the ability, have a full-time person that does nothing but answer the telephones. And yet we hear this at council meetings about issue. Well, let us know, because if it's been piling up for 2 weeks, we can't deal with it. We can deal with it in the moment.
No, I agree. If a resident has an issue, the council is always accessible. We are available by phone, we're available by email. So please let them know to call us, Bobby, and let us document it.
Yeah, call the city, because even the council members are a wonderful resource. They're committed to the service. I mean,
Because what's going to happen, we're getting hearsay, just like when I had to calm down the pastor at Grand Vetus View Church saying that they're going to be tore down and apartments are coming in next month. Hearsay is a bad thing. It's like yelling fire in a crowded theater. So
yeah.
this is when rumors get around and stuff gets passed on from person to person and not from us, the horse's mouth, this is what happens. Councilor Allen, you had something you want to say?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Real quick, this issue of notifications has been ongoing even when I was on the Planning Commission. There was that discussion. It seemed like we always just wanted to meet the minimum. And I'm thinking to myself that you're talking about there's a variety depending on what the project is, but I mean, rather than just trying to meet the basic minimum, of notification, if it's 500 feet, maybe we go out 600 or 800, 750 or 800 or 1,000, just to make sure that nobody can come back and say, I didn't know, because that was always the issue for the last 10 years that I've been involved in all this. That's all. It's only an idea, suggestion. That's it. Thanks, Mayor.
All right, maybe we could update that a little bit so everybody knows. Okay, any other public comment?
No, sir.
All right, we're going to close public comment. Special presentation. Award presented by Matthew Hernandez, Relay for Life. Matt, you want to?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Matthew Hernandez. I am the chairman for the Relay for Life Colton Grand Terrace Cancer Walk. First and foremost, let me apologize for my absence from the last meeting 2 weeks ago. And I thank you for this opportunity today to be here to do this presentation. I come before you tonight to recognize an individual for their sponsorship, their support, and dedication for our event last year on September 27th, 2025. On January 17th of 2026, we held our end-of-the-year wrap-up event, and there we recognized team captains, committee members, and individuals who gave their support to the relay throughout the year. We presented Mayor Hussey with a certificate for the city of Grand Terrace for your support throughout the year. We also recognized and presented Team Grand Terrace Relay for Life with recognition on being the rookie team, and presented team captain, Councilmember Allen, for heading that team. And then our last recognition of the evening went to Mayor Hussey. And it says to read the certificate. So we presented Mayor Hussey with the Heart of a Warrior Award. It says here, with deep respect and gratitude, we award this certificate for your tireless efforts and commitment in walking 120 laps, which equals to 30 miles on September 27, 2025. Your steps touched lives, and your selflessness inspired us all. Thank you for going the extra mile and bringing hope to others. And today we honored and to recognize your remarkable accomplishments. But we are not done recognizing. We have one more individual, and that has led me here tonight. Last year, our relay we celebrated 120 years. No, we didn't. We celebrated 20 years. And before COVID, we would always have participation every year by the Sheriff Department participating in the relay, providing a flyover and so forth. So tonight, I have 3 certificates. One is in sponsorship for the San Bernardino County Sheriff Department Public Affairs Division. And it says, we express our heartfelt appreciation for your dedication and contribution to the fight against cancer and to the 2025 Relay for Life Colton Grand Terrace. The Sheriff Department Public Affairs Division sponsored our relay with $500 donation. We also, one of the things that I wanted to bring back since we were celebrating this accomplishment was the flyover. And I didn't know if it was possible. We reached out to the city of Colton's chief and talked to him about it, but we were, denied. But then I reached out to Lieutenant Fries about it, and he looked into it, and not only did he get us the public affairs donation, but he also was able to get the aviation division to do a flyover at the beginning of our event. And the certificate says, "We express our heartfelt appreciation for your dedication and contribution to the fight against cancer and to the 2025 Relay for Life Colton Grand Terrace." And then finally, we have this certificate that I wanted to present to Lieutenant Fries, actually to Lieutenant Kevin Fries, in what he came out and supported our relay and did throughout his time there at the football field. This certificate is labeled Official Finisher Certificate, San Bernardino County Sheriff Department, Lieutenant Kevin Fries. This certificate is proudly presented to Lieutenant Kevin Fries in recognition for your dedication, strength, and commitment to successfully completing 52 laps, a half marathon at the Relay for Life event on September 27, 2025. Your miles make a difference in the lives of many, and we are grateful for your support, great effort, and passion. So if we could present this to Lieutenant Fries?
Sure, and he ran, I walked, so. I think we got a picture, AJ, of the finish line? Yeah, see. He was a little upset when I beat him. So. If you want to come up here and get a picture, Matt.
Oh, okay, all right.
Matt.
I'm not going to say that, but, you know.
If
But,
you guys want to come up here and get a picture together. so
Oh,
the
okay.
City clerk can take one. I mean, if you want to get underneath our finish line picture, I don't know, but. Thank you, sir.
thank you.
So Lieutenant Fries, to get the helicopter there, did you call 911 or something?
I know some people, I know some people around, it's,
Well, I felt embarrassed. When
Kind of
we
a big
didn't-
deal, you know.
Yeah, when we didn't have a certificate for Matt that day and everybody's handing one out, I go, we got a helicopter. That's even better, so.
yeah, it worked out perfect. They actually were in between calls and they were able to come over and assist. So it was great.
It was a great time. Maybe we could get Gary to come next year and bring us water or something, he could be sitting there handing out Gatorade and power bars.
I love it. I think it's a great idea. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Matt, and thank you for that good cause and stuff. And for Councilmember Allen, getting a team together, hopefully we'll get a bigger team and keep going, so. And we find a place, I guess you're looking for a place to do the relay next year, right?
We're still in communication with the school district, so.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming out tonight. All right, we'll close special presentation. Item D, consent calendar. The following consent calendar items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They'll be acted upon a city clerk at one time without discussion. Any council member, staff member, or citizen may request the item of the consent calendar for a discussion. Is there any public comment?
No, sir.
All right. Do we have a motion and a second?
I'll move consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, city attorney?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will read the title of the three ordinances for adoption. The first one is on item 2, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Grand Terrace, California, amending Chapter 12.32, Conduct on Public Property, Parks, of Title 12, Streets, Sidewalks, and Public Places of the Grand Terrace Municipal Code to clarify the definition of public property, update the unlawful acts provision, and establish enforceable regulations governing the use of solid waste containers on public property. On item 3, the title is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Grand Terrace, California, approving zoning code amendment 25-03, amending Title 17 subdivisions and Title 18 zoning of the Grand Terrace Municipal Code to implement state small lot subdivision requirements under Senate Bill 684, 2023, as amended by Senate Bill 1123, 2024, to update ministerial land use permit procedures to include code-compliant single-family residences consistent with Housing Element Program Number 16, and determining that the Zoning Code Amendment 25-03 is not a project under the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA. And the last ordinance for item number 4 is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Grand Terrace, California, approving Zoning Code Amendment ZCA 25-04, amending Title 18 zoning to implement Assembly Bill 98, 2024, as clarified by Senate Bill 415, 2024, including adding definitions, establishing a logistics use category, and adding a new Chapter 18.75, logistical use standards, and finding that the ordinance is not a project under the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, pursuant to Government Code Sections 65852.28E, 65913.4.5B, and 66499.41I. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Public hearing none. Unfinished business 2025-2026 mid-year and year-end budget review presented by Conrad, City Manager.
Okay. Thank you very much. Glad to bring this back again for official approval. This is mid-year and year-end review. So what we're going to do is look at our mid-year actuals, year-end projections, and then what our proposed budget is for the remainder of the year. Nothing has changed. I'm just going to go over it as a refresher, and then to pull out a little bit of detail that one or two of you asked for to discuss the detail. So as we remember from last time, our revenues at this point in the year, we have received about 44% of our revenue. We have expended about 43% of our expenditures, so we're running right about path. Nothing crazy or jumping out that is unusual, so we're tracking about where we should be. Projected revenues, we had, and I highlighted kind of the important ones. Property tax, this is unsecured property related to Condor. So the unsecured property is not necessarily the building or the land, it's stuff that's on it, so it's the battery packs. They are appealing that amount, so we're not, we didn't count on that, and we're not counting on that for next year either. This was going to be treated as a one-time money. Sales tax, also there is a variation relating to Condor. Our consultant made some assumptions that overstated where we should be. So sales tax, we're going to adjust downwards to meet that. And then we actually did pretty good on some investments. If you recall, about a year or two ago, we put some money into OPEB in investments, and then we moved some money into out of LAIF and into CDs. So we're getting a couple of % extra in interest that we would not normally get. So we've got some interest income just by using the money we have. On expenditures, we are going by, this is by department, and I did have one question for one of the council members. What did we go over and why do we have to spend more money? That is not the case. We have the additional revenue, as you recall from the last slide, primarily from here, and we're looking to do more things with that rather than backfilling a hole. So we have the opportunity to do more than what we've normally done. You can kind of see by department where that goes. We'll break this down a little better. So from the year end, we were approved, and we had some carryovers from the previous fiscal year. It was a balanced budget, but there was some carryovers, so on paper it was off. We do have, for our year-end projection, there's our increased revenue, our increased expenditures. You can see the differences here. And so we should have a balanced budget, and with the potential for about $370,000 still left in that piece. You know, the first question is, why aren't we doing stuff with it? We have 4 months, and I wanted to expend this money thoughtfully and wisely and appropriately, rather than just saying, hey, there's money, we're going to spend it. We can put it in reserve, we can pull it out of reserve when we need it then in the future. And by doing that over the last several years, we have an A rating in our reserve status of over 100%, over 12 months of reserves put away. So we're in very good shape. This would add to that. So, you know, it's always comes out smaller on the screen than I expected, but you also have the paper in front of you. Let me pull my paper so we can discuss this here. Primarily Sheriff's Department. We are looking at a SSS officer, which is a non-sworn officer who is able to backfill and support our sworn officers, take reports, get them out on the road doing crime prevention, crime activities, interdiction, and then this support officer does the paperwork, kind of accident reports, crime reports, to keep our guys on the street. We're also looking at about $50,000 in additional flock cameras for law enforcement. In our parks, we have a broad spectrum of stuff: drinking fountains, urinals, sinks. The bigger ones is we're looking at redoing the lights at the baseball field. Those have not really been done in probably since installation. They are hitting end of life. It's a fairly large ticket item. We were going to do this in next year's budget. We have the ability to do it this year. So there is a fairly large ticket. And then we do want to reseed Griffin Park. We had some issues with the irrigation. I want to get that seeded out and looking nice again. We got about $130,000 in streets to do some concrete sidewalks, signage. We'll do 2 more radar cameras and do some grinding on the streets. We have $100,000 set aside for the ballot measure. It's set aside. We're not approving that it will be spent. Anything over $25,000 will come back due to our purchasing policy. We'll come back to council for secondary approval. And then we're going to do a survey for the truck routes and the signage. We've kind of done this in pieces over time. We want to do this in a holistic view and thoughtfully, so that we don't just, there's some pieces I don't think we're giving the truck drivers enough time to bail out, to not make the turn. We want to make sure our signage is consistent and works well. We're doing about $70,000 in building maintenance. The big one is that our Public Works building had some fairly dramatic damage to it, just over time, roof leaks and whatever. So we will be doing some work on that. EOCs, repairing the antennas, some generators, handheld radios, buying some Christmas decorations, doing some work at the senior center, primarily in the billiards room, and some popcorn machine and stuff for the seniors, and then some other bits and pieces. The biggest one is a piece of equipment for the Public Works guys, an excavator, so they can get to their pipes when they do irrigation stuff. And then to have an app for public reporting and an interface, so that the city has an app available. We've set money aside for that. We're talking to vendors right now, but we think that's going to be in about the right price range. So with that, the majority of this is one-time expenses. We're trying not to do recurring costs because we're treating this as one-time money. And this is, as I said, we've been very careful. Staff's been careful on the expenditures. If you recall, we've done this every year for the last 4 years. Come back at mid-year, say we've saved enough money, we've underspent enough money, we've been careful enough to where we can do more things for the city. And this is the same thing. We can do more things for the city for this amount. So I am asking if there's any questions and recommending approval. Thank you.
You have any questions? I'm going to look at Matt Brown first. Doug?
Just a couple of clarifications, thank you. I really appreciate this breakdown. It makes a lot of sense for us, because then we can determine, rather than doing things backwards, it allows us the ability to determine our fate. I had a question about the support officer, but I think I understand that. What is a flock camera?
Those are the automatic license plate reader cameras. I think we have 12 of them in the city right now. They're not only license plate, they have facial recognition. Sheriff's Intelligence Unit, we placed them, actually last year at mid-year, we had some extra money. We put the first 12 in. And they are a huge tool for the Sheriff's Department as far as prevention and follow-up. So with that piece of equipment in the right intersections, they can track people. Basically, you have a virtually gated community. You can see every car that comes in and out of the city. You can see their license plates. You got facial recognition. What it allows the sheriffs to do is, let's say there's a set of burglaries in a neighborhood or an area. We can go back to the flock cameras and see what cars have been in and out of there on the times of the burglaries. It narrows down a list of suspects.
But their recording ability is like 5 to 7 days, somewhere in that direction. Then they turn over. Is that what?
These are not for public consumption.
Gotcha.
These are different than the CCT cameras because of the ability to identify license plates, facial recognition. This is for sheriff's use. If you get in an accident and want our clock camera footage, you're not getting it.
In the parks, drinking fountains for parks, I noted that we had 4 drinking fountains for almost $11,000 a piece, but then we go down to the drinking fountains at the City Hall, and it's a $2,000 item. Are we overstepping our boundaries with the kind of fountains they are? Because none of them work. You know, the ones over there, at least at the baseball field, they're dry as a bone, so.
Some of those fountains could be older than I am, and we are actually replacing the ones at the parks because we can no longer get parts for them. So we have got some nice ones. They have the bottle filler, so you can fill your water bottle. They do have to be a more durable construction because they will be outdoors. They get a harder use. The stuff we put in the city hall is, you know, kind of the one that's hanging by the bathrooms there. It used to be hanging by the bathrooms. So it doesn't have to be as sturdy and be able to take the abuse that something in a park does.
Okay. And then the urinals are 4 for $11,000. Man, I've never seen a urinal that runs a couple of grand or $2,500 a piece. That's pretty nasty.
The urinal itself, but also, as you know, urinals are wall mounted and the carrier on the wall. So to replace a urinal, you open up the wall, you tear out the tile. There's some plumbing work. The carriers have to be replaced and the plumbing's replaced. So it's not the $1,500 or $1,000 urinal. There's a lot of tail that wags that dog.
I noted the baseball field lights at Freedom Park were $243,677. That's got to be from a proposal someplace, because
we already have proposals for much of this. And the reality is we have 4.5 months to perform on this, which is why there's still some money on the table, because I know we can't expend, and I don't want to wildly expend everything there. So yes, we have proposals for a large percentage of these and are ready to move. This is time constrained.
I didn't know we had that many lights. By George, that's a lot. Okay. Oh, yes, the ballot measure consultant, you clarified that. Any expenses over $25,000 will be approved by the council. But $100,000 is a pretty good allowance for a ballot concession, although I know that's from experience, so we've already been there. 33, yeah. Oh, yes, I know. Backtracking a little bit. Why are our sales taxes down so desperately?
There's confident, let me be careful so that I don't give away individual businesses. There is a sector of business that we serve that are a very large percentage of our sales tax. With the housing slowdown, that sector has had a slowdown as well. So we are seeing that, and we had actually up until the quarter before last, we had, if I remember right, 18 straight quarters of positive sales tax growth. Mm-hmm. We did have a dip. There was a projection that sales tax would go down. They did go down about 2%. Our last reporting period, which is third quarter of '25 because it runs so far behind. So basically, we're running 6 months behind.
So it's a bubble. It's a bubble that
It's a
burst.
little blurb. We're back up to what sales tax growth of like 1.6% in that last quarter.
Well,
So
that's
we are seeing positive growth again on the broader sales tax view, and we're trying to be, once again, we underestimate sales tax, underestimate revenues, overestimate expenses. So with that, the other estimate we have in there is that gas prices, when we did this, gas prices were supposed to be coming down. There's a refinery in Northern California that is apparently going offline, and there's some discussions in the sales tax people world that gas could go as high as $6 or $6.50 a gallon. And city managers are the only people in the world that hope for higher gas prices because that increases the sales tax. So at this point, it's volatile. So we're taking the lowest possible estimate rather than come back here and say, oops.
And that's why they call it a budget, and that's why they call it a mid-year adjustment. Thank you. And last but not least, what kind of excavator?
Like a little Kubota one that has a trencher on it. We're doing
Oh.
so much irrigation repair. Some of our irrigation lines are so old. And it's an issue of deferred maintenance. For years, they were patched, not repaired or replaced. And so there are sections of irrigation at some of the parks that were, a repair on a repair on a repair. It's like, you know what, let's just rip this out, put in a new one, we won't worry about it again for 40 years.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Allen, you have anything? Questions? Councilman Brown?
Thank you. Thank you, Conrad, for the report. I'm glad to see this item wasn't on consent.
I was tempted.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. I guess, I want to really just thank you and the staff for the thoughtful approach in going through and planning these projects. A lot of these things are priorities that the council had previously talked about and identified, and I'm glad to see they're going to come to fruition, and we can hope to see most of them done by the summer, right? The only thing I have is process, and so this list of projects, I know you guys had it available during our last meeting, and I would expect in the future, for transparency purposes, that this be included in the agenda item. It's important. We've got members of the public here. If they pull up the agenda, they should be able to have this information just like we do. And quite honestly, this is stuff we should be bragging about. We're actually getting things done for our residents. These are important projects. Some of them we recently had groups of people in here. For example, the lighting, at Veterans Park was a real need for that investment in that facility. So anyway, I would just like to see this stuff included in the future so everyone has it. And obviously, if you're sitting here, there's no way they could read it on the screen because it was so small. So that's it. Other than that, great job. So thank you.
Councilman Allen?
Thanks, Mayor. I just thought of this. Doug, our Councilmember Wilson asked about the flock cameras, and I was going to ask you, do we have a contract with the flock company?
We do.
An
For
annual one?
The existing 12, there is an annual charge for that, and this is an item that will have an annual recurring. So there's an upfront for installation, and if I recall, it's somewhere around $2,000 per year per camera for an annual.
Yeah, and so with this 50 grand, how many cameras will that get us?
We're trying for 6.
6?
Yeah,
So that's 18 total,
correct.
and then the annual fees and all that.
Yeah, so there is
Okay.
some annual fees that will, and the SSS officer will continue to be an annual fee as well. But the flock, because they are transmitting that data, they do the maintenance, the service on it, and then they handle that data.
Yeah.
Not just for Grand Terrace, but for all of the neighboring communities. So it really does create this net for law enforcement as people move from community to community. It's a huge resource.
Yeah, I agree it is, and I've seen it in action. I've seen it, at the trade shows where they show all the capabilities of it and all that. I've also read recently that there's more and more cities that are canceling their Flock subscriptions and not using Flock anymore because their residents are asking them to, they don't want to be surveilled. And so, I mean, it's nationwide, even from California to the East Coast, north to south, various cities, small and large, are. And I mean, I think Flock's a great thing, the whole concept. I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out there, just FYI, for those of you who aren't aware of it. It's more and more, it's being cities, and even some large cities in California are canceling their Flocks. So, just throwing that out there. Because we went down this road some years back. Those of you who might remember, we used to have some of those stoplight cameras in this city. And we had to bite the bullet on that and take them down and all that because they were ruled unconstitutional. So anyway, but I just was going to ask you if we had that. I wanted to know if we were paying that or if it was something that was in the sheriff's contract. But thanks for that, clarifying that.
We pay for the annual on that.
Okay, thanks.
I just have one question, Conrad. So, Veterans Freedom Parking with the light costs and everything else, and I know we had a coach coming here for Gophers and problems with the field. Is that baseball field going to be ready for baseball season?
We have manually gone out and filled the holes, patched back what we can. In the annual budget, we will be looking for funds when we come for next fiscal year to resurface the field like we did the soccer field. It's time, and part of, it's not just gophers, it's ground squirrels. I always joke with people that that's not a bear on the flag, it's a gopher, because that is our state animal. One of our public works guys came up with a great creative idea. We're putting up owl boxes around the park so we can get some natural gopher control as well. But we don't have time in this fiscal year to come back and hit that surface. So we will patch it, fix it, and then when the off season next year, hopefully with the next year's fiscal budget, we will set money aside to do the surface, because it is time.
But it will be a safe place for the teams to play this year.
It is safe now, yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
If nothing else, they'll be able to see the holes when the lights are there.
Do we have any public comment?
No, sir.
Is this a receive and file or?
No, we need a vote, please.
Move the item.
Second.
First and second, please vote.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Future agenda items, do we have any council recommendations? No? Close that. Item I, City Communications, Councilman Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, it's been a busy couple of weeks since we last met. I attended the Grand Terrace Chamber of Commerce meeting, and later that week I attended the 2026 State of the Region meeting, and that's in that meeting, the findings from IEP's and Claremont McKenna College's partnership. They present a report on the economic focus for the region, and the long story short is Riverside and San Bernardino County are growing in political influence, which is good for us because we'll get more resources from the state in the future as we continue to grow. The challenge is, though, we need to build a workforce, bring in higher paying jobs, investing in workforce education, the new medical school at University of California, Riverside is important. Focusing on infrastructure investment for local government's key. And then everyone's favorite subject in Grand Terrace is housing supply needs to keep pace with demand. So it was a very interesting meeting, and it brought together leaders from our entire region, and it was well worth the time and education. I also attended the Colton Joint Unified School District's Community Cabinet meeting, and it was a great meeting. We had presentations from Terrace View Elementary School. They had 50 students there playing guitar. It's a stringed instrument program. They've got 200 students enrolled in that program now. And then we got to see a robotics demonstration from students. at Terrace Hills Middle School. And so the key is that the Colton Joint Unified School District is working on equipping our students with skills to thrive in a tech-driven world. And they have AI initiatives and a competitive robotics program that they've got in place at our schools, and it's pretty exciting stuff. So then on Saturday, I attended Cars and Coffee, and I wanted to bring this up. I know Johan does a great job of keeping us all informed, but this was the 8th anniversary for Cars and Coffee, and there were 55 vehicles there, which was a great turnout considering the weather that we had just a couple days before. But I wanted to mention that at Cars and Coffee, they recognized some individuals in our community for their consistent leadership and willingness to participate in community projects. We've all seen them from the toy drive cruise to the substation project. Anything that we need, these are the people that always step up and volunteer. And as the mayor says, you know, Grand Terrace is a little city with a big heart. Well, these people are part of that big heart. And so I wanted to mention them by name, and that would be Chuck and Beverly Cecil, Stam and Stephanie Sarasaris, Daryl Brule, Rob Burleson, Guy Portillo, John Alonzo and Alma, Chuck Penry, Christy McGuire, and Get Loaded. You see her everywhere. Every time there's a need, she steps up. Ed and Becky Giroux, the Lions Club, and Tim Lundstrom were all honored on Saturday. It was a really neat event, and I just feel blessed to have such great people to work with in our community. When we have needs, you call on them, and they're there to help. Other than that, this morning, and I'm wearing my Sheriff's Department lapel pin in honor of my friend Sergeant Grant Ward. We attended his celebration of life ceremony today, and so that was a tough one. But it's been a busy couple of weeks since our last meeting, and I just wanted to share that with all of you. And the last thing I want to mention is this Saturday morning, 8 a.m. at the Grand Terrace Professional Plaza, that's 22365 Barton Road, the Lions Club and Boy Scout Troop 40 are hosting a pancake breakfast. And I encourage all of you to come out and support our Boy Scouts. They're trying to raise money for an annual camp out, and they don't sell cookies like the Girl Scouts, so they need our support. So please join me for breakfast Saturday morning. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Allen?
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to attend the one community cabinet meeting that, Matt, you're talking about. But in the past, I mean, I'm on the community cabinet, and I just think that the Colton School District is doing a great job of making sure that, you know, they offer the high tech, but they also are making sure that the kids have the arts available to them. And I think that's great. So they're so well-rounded, you know, opportunities, and they're not just having to focus on just either on tech. Everybody thinking tech is the future, but they need some of the arts also, keep them well-rounded. And I think Colton's doing a good job with that so far. And also the Blue Mountain Hike's coming up. I know you're probably going to talk about that, but I'd like to encourage all the folks out there listening. Blue Mountain Hike coming up on the Sunday, March 1. And yeah, support these Boy Scouts, and this is so that they can help fund their trips to their summer camp and pay for the supplies that they need and the logistics to take as many of those young men and women to the summer camp. So yeah, this Saturday be a good meal also. You know, I had a email from you, Mayor, I received at 3:30 in the morning a few days back. Did you hear about that? Yeah. And, but I just wanted to let you know, I don't know if any of y'all have had this happen, okay, but there's some bad actors out there doing these phishing attempts, and they're not as skilled as they think they are, because they you know, tried to say things that I know you would have never said. You should read it. So anyway, but I just want to warn you guys, and that those things that we're getting hit with these phishing attempts on it to our email, and I got it. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jeff. Councilman Wilson?
Mayor, I'd just like to thank all the Olympians. Great show, obviously, but more importantly, watching the faces of the people that participated in the Winter Olympics this year. Really incredible. I wish it didn't end, but I'm glad that we did so well. And I would like to congratulate all those, even a few local folks for us that represented us there in Milan, or in Cortina. Also, my wife and I attended Armando's, the newest restaurant in our town. Fantastic menu. One would think that the amount of Latin American type restaurants that we have that cater to Latin American food is probably enough, but I can tell you that everybody brings their own flavor. And I enjoyed eating there, and I enjoyed the folks that run the business. I wish them all the hearty opportunity that they can muster. So other than that, that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem isn't here, so she wanted me to share something to you. She received 2 calls at 2/23/2026 regarding a male defecating on the corner of Van Buren and Mount Vernon at 1:55 p.m. It is imperative that residents call the sheriffs. This is indecent exposure and leave the community vulnerable when the residents post to Facebook instead of calling law enforcement. Also, there will be a power outage, scheduled power outage Thursday, February 26th from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. to replace the pole. Areas impacted east of Mount Vernon, west of Michigan, and north of Van Buren. Those who are affected should have received notifications today. The street cones were replaced, restricting parking. Anyone who needs to park or exit their homes, that day need to ask to park their cars down the streets or around the corner. And let's see what else. And then she will be in contact with Mark Cloud if anything else comes. And 10 Inland Empire donkeys killed in mysterious attacks. I don't know what that's about, so she just sent me that. So somebody apparently is going around killing the donkeys, and that's pretty sad they did that. But yeah, she couldn't make it today. But I just want to pass that word. But yeah, let me reemphasize, if you see something, say something, as we all say. I know it could be kind of like you're in shock when you see somebody pulling down their pants and doing this business on the side. But the biggest thing is, I'm not saying to take a picture, the guy doing it, but take a picture afterwards, but call the sheriffs, call the non-emergency numbers. The main reason, too, is kids travel that pathway. It's indecent exposure. That guy or girl or whoever's doing it might need help. And believe it or not, I called Lieutenant Fries this weekend. The 3 people I was worried about, one I think is a permanent resident here in Grand Terrace, and 2 are homeless people out of Colton. So not everybody comes from the Wallace House. And I know we do have people come from the Wallace House. But we also got to remember our state is the largest state in the union with the highest population of homelessness. And before, Little Hill used to protect us. Our Hill is not protecting us anymore. They're looking for easy targets, and the easy targets is when you give them money. Stop giving them money. If they are aggressive panhandlers, that is against the law. You can call the sheriffs. When they're coming up to your car in an aggressive manner and asking for money or being aggressive to you, they are breaking the law. The state of California says it's lawful to panhandle. Signs are being given to businesses, and only a couple businesses took those signs. I don't know why, but you got to remember, the state of California made it lawful to panhandle, but aggressive panhandling is not lawful. But when in doubt, call the sheriffs out. And emergency number, make notification, don't interfere with the people. Just do it. We need to have records of this. And if they're J.C. Wallace residents, we need to have records of that. I know we had a gentleman that was attacked and assaulted. We are working on that. It will happen. And we can't have things like that happen. We can't let stuff slide between the cracks. There's no excuse for that. So please, call the sheriffs out when you see something, say something. Don't try to get 100 million likes on Facebook. But it is good, to let other people know and be aware of the surroundings. But first ones you call is the sheriffs. And also the airport noise. We've been turning in paperwork and filing for the planes that are flying over. I guess not a lot of people are turning that in. So we're hitting a wall on there. So I guess some people don't hear the noise. But when it wakes me up, and I didn't send an email at 3:30, but I did get up at 2:30 one day because the airplane was flying over my house and it was really loud. So make sure you get with the San Bernardino Airport Authority and put in a complaint on that, because if there's not enough complaints, just like with the rave concert, they're not going to do anything. Documentation is the key to anything. I got to attend a shoot and no shoot thing with the community for the district attorney in the city of Banning. I've been in Banning a long time, but that's with scenarios and for when you're going to shoot or no shoot. They have simulators. Even with my experience, I messed up. So can you imagine? But my shooting policy was different than what the police do. But can you imagine 2 seconds and your life changing? Well, I went in a room with one, and I shot a baby in the simulator because the baby was behind the person who was going to shoot the person. And not one of us in that room saw that baby. So law enforcement officers have to deal with this daily. They put their life on the line, and they get ridiculed daily for it. So 2 seconds can mean a lot. Now, it's nice when we have Monday morning quarterbacks and we replay everything. It's like we got to see some stuff. But, please, if you see something, say something, respect the law. And, I would like everybody, I think they should do that, shoot, no shoot, especially politicians. Because then they can't say, well, why did they do that? Well, I'll tell you why you did that. A lot of people are afraid to do it. I volunteered for like 3 scenarios. I don't care. I want to go do it. Got to attend the State of the City in Fontana, my old stomping grounds. I grew up there. Now, we all hear Grand Terrace has changed. Fontana has changed. When I grew up there, the population was 20,000. North Fontana was the dump and the chicken ranches. Now North Fontana's got multi-million-dollar homes. We attended at the Water Life Church, beautiful church. The area is being built, and what the mayor said is they tore down the old city hall, and they're building a new city hall. Now their budget's 100 times more than what we got, but they also have 100 times more expense. But they're looking for their future, looking for the future of their residents. And I know it's hard times when we're going for this housing element. We've been pushing this element under the rug for so long, hoping that it'll go away, and it didn't go away. So the rug's full of dirt. Now we got to act on it. Talking to other cities, they've already been through this, but everybody's going through the same thing. But please, do not go around spreading rumors, like I said earlier, about the city's going to tear down a whole neighborhood and put apartments, especially a church. I just can't imagine that congregation, what they went through on that. That was just not right, somebody driving around telling them that they're going to do that. The pancake thing Saturday, I won't be there, but I did buy my 2 tickets, supporting the Boy Scouts. It is kind of messed up. The Girl Scouts get to sell cookies, and I try not to buy a box, but every time I have to buy a box of cookies, so it's like they tackle you at the front door. But you can also donate for the military, men and women too, and that's a good way. Grant Wars, celebration of life, at Emmanuel Baptist Church. Beautiful church, beautiful person, beautiful family. It was a celebration of life. And Grant words till his last breath was wondering what he could do for you. What can I do for you? He's going to be truly missed, known to everybody, and he took care of a lot of his brothers and sisters in harms, and it was nice seeing everybody come together and support his family. And like I said, beautiful ceremony, and I just wish I could be 10% of what that man has accomplished and what he has done. He will be missed. Congratulations, Cars and Coffees, for 8 years. And it seems like yesterday when we did that Christmas drive, and we lot of lessons learned on that, especially who's stopping traffic. But, it was during COVID, so it was crazy times during that time. But anyway, thank you, everybody, for coming out. And Bobby, prayers for you on your upcoming surgery and your healing. If you need anything, you know who to contact, and stuff. So we're here for you. And City Manager, you have anything?
Yeah, just real quick. Blue Mountain Hike, again, is Sunday, 8 o'clock in the morning. And get your carb loading on Saturday with the pancake breakfast so you can do your hike on Sunday. And that is it. I don't think the gentleman have anything, do you?
Just a couple things. I wanted to thank you, Mayor and Councilmember Brown, for attending today, and anybody else that attended the Grant Ward's service. It was amazing, very, very beautiful. And if you can learn anything from Grant, is that even in the face of adversity, this last couple of years, but I mean, even before that, he was just a very eccentric, happy individual that faced everything with his best foot forward. And I think that church was packed today with a bunch of people, and I think the lasting impression that everybody saw was like, you could be a nice guy, you could be kind to everybody and all that, but I think everybody's going to take something away from him, because even in the face of adversity that he's had the last couple of years, he was always, he always had that will to survive, and succeed and things like that. And he really poured into his community and poured into his people and trusted his people. And he was able to do amazing things, not only for the community, but for this department and just everybody that knew him. He was just a great guy. And, he was a doer. He wasn't a complainer. He had, he would come up with a plan or there was a challenge, and he would just never, wallow. He would just gather up all his best resources, and he would get things done. And God, he's going to be missed. So that was, I thank you for attending that. I want to shed just a little bit of light on what you were talking about and what Mayor Pro Tem Sabino had mentioned earlier about the reporting. It's absolutely important to make sure that we're getting that information out on social media and we're telling people. But again, just to kind of reiterate on what the mayor had said, to see something, say something. One of the things that binds our hands a lot of times as law enforcement is, we get this information secondhand, third hand. It's after the fact. For example, the person that was defecating. It's really helpful to know those things in the moment, because we need a victim, right? So you can go a day later, 2 days later, post all this on social media and say, hey, this guy, with a white T-shirt and blue jeans is walking around and he's pooping behind all the signs. And it's like, okay, we can go find him, but then who we arrest him, but who's the victim of that? You know what I'm saying? So we have to have people that are willing. This homeless person or somebody from J.C. Wallace was banging on our windows and they were harassing us. Okay, we'll come out there. If it already happened and law enforcement shows up, it's now a misdemeanor committed, not our presence. We need somebody to step up and be willing. Are you willing to be a victim? Yep, I want to be a victim. This person victimized me. Okay, are you willing to sign a citizen's arrest? We then do a citizen's arrest at that time for a misdemeanor not committed in our presence, and that pushes the step forward. But, and then what you could do is after that, once that person's arrested, then you send the information out to social media saying, hey, just so you know, this person was arrested for this. I don't want you to be a further victim, and then that's how you push it off. But, sending information after the fact is helpful, but it's more helpful if we know about it right then. Call us out there. We will handle that problem, and address that. What else? Yeah, absolutely. Just, and as far as the businesses, if we've got panhandling issues, it is great. If you're going through a shopping center and you see what you believe to be panhandling, loitering, things like that, again, if there's municipal codes in place that we can go out there and cite these people for, but we really need to impress upon the businesses in this area that if we don't want people out in front of your businesses harassing the customers and loitering and panhandling, please call us there and be willing to enforce those municipal codes and those laws, because then that's how we were able to act on those and start getting these people, these repeat offenders out of there. And with that, that's all I have.
Nothing to report, I'm good.
All right, City Attorney, you have anything?
No, sir.
Okay. So closed session, none. Before I adjourn, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Grant Ward's family and his friends. Thank you. So the next regular city council meeting will be held March 10th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Any request to have the item placed on a future agenda must be made in writing and submitted to the city clerk. If you have any documentations that you want the city council to have, please email it to all city council members so we could look at it. And that's it, and hopefully we'll see you during Blue Mountain Walk, and God bless, have a good night.